just so that nobody interrupts him when he's speaking, Toastmasters way. Okay, since that's out of the way, and since I have cited our speaker in the room, I'll go ahead and introduce him. He is a champion of the humorous speech and table topics contest. Actually, humorous speech, that's the one he won. He is the principal consultant of Star Gold Executive Consultants Limited. He has a master's degree in media and communication from Pan-African University in Lagos. He joined Toastmasters International in 2017 and became Division E champion of humorous speech in 2019. His hobbies are reading, watching good movies, dancing, and writing. He is not in any complicated relationship. Dear Toastmasters, it is my pleasure to welcome, to take over the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Prince Timothy Ofwebu. Timothy Ofwebu, the virtual lectern is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if there are some guests among us. I am happy to be in your midst, and we want to share together what all of you know, tips on winning the humorous speech. I want to start by giving a sample humorous speech. Then from my speech, I will now do the other things like analyzing it and using it to encourage some of us that want to contest. So I want to start immediately a 5 or 7 minutes humorous speech, a sample, then from there we move forward. The speech is titled, Bitterness of Personal Financial Crisis. Bitterness of Personal Financial Crisis. The context here. One of the things in life that will help you is when you are financially down. That is when to fall in love. Because whoever that will love you when you are down financially is loving you for who you are and for what you are. It is extremely, very, very difficult for so many people to survive in the time of financial crisis. Why is this so? For some reasons. Number one, you first of all have to know the signs to know whether you will survive or not. Time of financial crisis is when some people suddenly become prudent managers. They become economical with both their cosmetics and groceries. I don't know if this thing makes any sense to you. This is a toothpaste. If I'm not having any financial crisis, I can use it carelessly anyhow. But when I'm down, I'm broke, suddenly, I will be careful the quantity that will come out of it. And most of the times, when it's done, I will not give up. I will squeeze the last paste out of it and make sure that I even invite a razor blade or a scissors to help me so that I can scoop the last. Does this sound familiar to you? A time of financial crisis is a time, if it's in my country, Nigeria, when people begin to live what I call life in sachets. Sachet tea, sachet coffee, sachet water. Everything will suddenly become sachets. You will now know that spending so much on big quantity will not help you. It is also a time that some people begin to rationalize. Imagine somebody that did DSTV or GoTV suddenly is off and they call you to recharge. A person that is having financial crisis will begin to rationalize, say, oh, what do they even show on those satellite television? Big Brother Africa, what is there? People dancing naked on MTV. I don't want to have anything to do with it. A time of financial crisis is a time people wait endlessly on their phones, waiting to hear a good news, an alert from friends and families they have called to help them. It has happened to me once. I waited and waited and prayed, and that day my bank Zenith was almost off. I have to keep my phone by my bedside because I don't even have money to go out. Suddenly around 3 p.m., there was a big boop on my phone, and I look, it was from Zenith. With joy, I opened, and lo and behold, it was 350 minus from my account. They say it's for maintenance levy. And I say, here I am, I want to maintain myself, and my bank is collecting what is still remaining. A time of financial crisis is a time some of us enters into cycle of debts. There is what I call irritating debts. You owe people you ought not to owe. And in order to service these debts, you have to borrow from B to pay A, borrow from C to pay B, borrow from D to pay C. Suddenly, it will be unheard of that you are even owing somebody 2,000 naira or 1,000 naira. Finally, a time of financial crisis is a time to be humble. You don't talk much during a time like this. You just remain simple. You just want to live a very simple life. I want to tell you that once, when I was in that kind of situation, I have to use what I call red. Why? Because my eyes have seen red. In management, RED is an acronym for reflection, evaluation, and decision. So I have to make do and now reflect on what is going on. Am I spending more than my income? I have to evaluate my current situation, and I have to decide. This is what I suggest to you if you are facing financial crisis. Begin to move from want to needs. There are basic things you need, and there are others that you don't need. You just want it. And the basic ones are now what they call number one, food. Let me ask you this question. Who said that you must eat 3 times a day? 3 square meal? Is it 3 triangular or 3 square? I thought 4 is square. Somebody is confusing you. In a time of financial crisis, you have to cut down with your feeding. I'm advising you. When we were in secondary school and university, we have formula 011, formula 001. Time of financial crisis is a time to lose weight. It has some advantages. It is a time for you to say, well, I won't need. If you're going to high-class restaurant, manage mama put. If you are taking Lagos water and Ever water bottle water, manage what we call sachet water. And if you are the type that can eat anything midnight, in fact, I advise you to not to take anything, take little food, you'll be okay. It has happened to me. I used to weigh almost 150. There was a time financial crisis shrink me. free of charge, not going to gym. When I cut down on food, I notice that it's good for you. Number two is what we call clothes. A lot of people say, how we wear designers, Louis Vuitton, Versace, Gucci. I'm yet to see somebody who is going on the road. People say, oh, you're putting on designers. It is a time for you to also cut down. Most of the clothes are already in your wardrobe. Have you finished wearing them? Because of the hardship in Nigeria, my country, I have to actually call tailors. We call them Obioma in Nigeria. People that have kind hearts. They move about with their sewing machine on their shoulders. I invited them at my house 2 Saturdays ago. And after I've mended so many trousers and shirts and everything, I noticed that I recovered 20 good clothes. Send it to dry cleaning, and I'm wearing one of them now. And they're still looking good, at least on the video. A time of financial crisis will make you to think about shelter. Shelter is one of the needs, but you must not be in a place you cannot pay the next rent. Okay? If you stay in one room, nobody will know where you are coming out from. All these things that have done to us by priming our minds that you must be in a particular location. And finally, transportation. A time of financial crisis call for trekking. Trekking has good advantage. Trekking will make you to be in shape. Physically, you are doing yourself a very good thing if you begin to trek. If you're in Abuja like me, you can trek from Wuye to Wuse. You can trek from Zuba to AYA. It's only 30 kilometers. You will not die. Some Kenyans, our brothers, run up to 50, 80 kilometers, and they still get the prize. So begin to trek. It will help you. It's a good exercise. And that is what we call a good way to manage the financial crisis. Do you know that even as you are listening to me now, you have to ask yourself a very good question. This financial crisis that I'm facing now, are there ways that can come out of them? The answer is yes. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. In Warri, one of the cities in Nigeria, there's a local saying that when the jungle mature, he who no go know. It simply means that you have to prepare for tough times. And I'm telling you, this will soon be over. Try in your own way to believe you can make it. The contest share. So what I have just done, if you notice, is that I gave a speech. The word humorous speech, the speech is the noun, and humorous is the adjective qualifying it, meaning that it has to be a well-structured speech. You are not a comedian that want to give a night of 1,000 laughs where people pay and want to laugh because they paid. You are infusing humor in a speech that have structure, like any international speech or the one you give in your class. And I want to tell you something today. There are two most difficult things to do in this world. Number one, to convince a very pretty, financially independent lady to marry you, if you're a man, especially if you are broke, if you are homeless, and if you are unemployed. it makes it extremely difficult for you to convince her. Number two is to make people to laugh. Many people have so many things worrying them that even when you try to be funny, it irritates a lot of people. That we think that you are making fun of their situation, so they have nothing to laugh. So then life is too serious for you to try to water serious issues down. And that's why it is not easy to be funny. But let me give you a tip today. I was not born humorous. I was not born funny. Just as you are striving to perfect speaking in public, also strive to perfect how to be funny, how to be humorous. And the first suggestion is for you to look life on a lighter mood. Don't take so many things so serious. Look away of bringing humor in everyday life, in everyday interaction with family members and with friends and with colleagues. Just try it. That's the best way for you to grow, because you can't just make or write a humorous speech if you are not humorous, because you have to deliver it. People have to look at your delivery pattern. People who are sitting down there come to laugh, and you have to make them to laugh at least once or twice, depending on your ability. So begin today to look at certain things. Let me give you, for an instance, you are describing a pretty lady. You say, the new girlfriend of Toastmaster Olu Joseph, that she is so pretty that if you pass her as a man and you don't turn back to glance at her and appreciate her beauty, it is because you fell down from a motorcycle and broke your neck. You can't turn your neck because your neck is stiff. This is a very simple statement, but you have added humor into it. The situation of fuel increase in my country had made me now to trek like a cow. Well, because we are bringing humor into it. The soup is so delicious that I regretted paying 2,000 for that kind of thing. Yes, the way you turn it around will make people to appreciate it. So begin with your spouse if you are married. I remember one time my wife was in a certain position and she was snoring. Normally I have to maybe hit her to solve that kind of locomotive train kind of engine. But on a second note, I brought up my phone and recorded it. So I made sure that I use it as a special ringtone from her. So in the morning, I said to her, I said to her, baby, come in. Fact, this aspect of women calling men baby and men calling their wives baby. When my wife started it, I was worried. I said, where did you get it? Say, you are my baby. You are my baby. I said, how? So many women are calling their husbands baby. I said, why this baby? I said, I don't know. But you're just my baby. You know, from that day, she started cooking indomie for me. Most of it in the night, she'll be cooking indomie in the morning, she'll cook indomie. I said, oh, no wonder you are calling me baby. Before you know it, you put on Pampers on me. So I said, look, I'm no more your baby. Call me any other thing. So I said, call the number. She called, there was a name and there was not. He said, what is this? When you snore, it makes me to fall in love with you more and more. She laughed. This is a very serious issue. I wanted to correct her, but I'm trying to use love, correcting in love. She has to hear the snoring. She has to hear herself. He said, okay, it's okay, but delete it. People can misunderstand this. You are loving my snoring in public, but she have got the message. So try to be funny, okay? Then, number 2 is that listening to people who are funny. When you go to Google, you can see so many Toastmasters humorous speeches from all over the world. Listening to them, learn from them, even commercial professional comedians like Ali Baba, if you're a Nigerian, and others, even though they crack some jokes that are unethical, filter it, notice their mannerism, notice how they use story, notice how they make it so simple. And you try to say, if they can do it, I can do it. Okay, so these are other things you need to know about being humorous. Number 3 is that you have to find a topic that is very, very good if you are entering the contest. Both the judges and the guests and the Toastmasters will like to listen and hear your topic being announced. Okay, imagine that you come in, they introduce you, and what topic are you speaking on? They say you are speaking on a topic that says why men gossip. Why men gossip. I Toastmaster Anita. Every man in that audience will sit up, knowing that some of them will even become stiffened, that they will not laugh. They want to know why we gossip. And all women will also want to listen on why men gossip. So it's a very good topic for a humorous speech. You can say, how I failed in Abuja. And if you are a Toastmaster based in the city of Abuja like me, every person there will listen with every attention because nobody wants to fail. And those that have failed will know how to come out of it. And you can say something like, why women beat their husbands. Every married man there and every man to be married, and everyone will say, okay, that's what we've been hearing about men beating women, but this issue of women beating husbands, we would like to hear about it. And how I fell in love with a wrong person. Come to think of it, who will not like to this? Who want to fall in love with a wrong person? So topic is very, very important. Topic is like looking into your heart from your eyes. Everybody will know from day one where you are going, okay? Another thing is that you have to consider your audience. I hope you remember very, very well that the Toastmasters is in most clubs are middle class and upper class, professionals, highly educated. So you will be sure of the type of jokes you are cracking or the humor you are bringing on. You have to know your audience. You don't have to make fun on stuff like now, making fun of the doctors, making fun of the lawyers, making fun of some politicians. Like in my country now, for instance, there's a young political party called Labour Party. There's so many youths are here. Imagine you are talking and there's some people here will be shouting LP 76, LP 77, LP 89. And after counting what happened, you people lost. You think people will laugh? Somebody may even ambush you after the competition and give you the beating of your life you never expected. So there are certain things you will, because of the audience, try to tailor your speech and your humor so that it will not be offensive to them, okay? So you must be informative and objective. Like I said, there is a speech after the word humorous. You are making a speech. People must learn something from it. People must go home with something. There must be an information you will release. There must be something you will say to make it very, very objective. You are not just a stand-up comedian that is just talking for the talking sake. If you are going to write a humorous speech, my advice to you is not to write. First of all, with the topic, record yourself with your phone, whether video or audio. First of all, say your mind. Try to make a speech that is impromptu. Try to infuse humor. Then, after you have listened and critique yourself, you may now begin to jot down what you want to convey. In choosing the topic, bitterness over personal financial crisis, I want to communicate what is relevant to the audience here in my country, okay? So you have to do that so that you don't just talk for talking's sake. because people are listening. It has to be a normal speech. The outline, like they suggested, will be like the outline of any other speech, the structure. Mine had a beginning. I try to tell you signs that you are having financial, even analyze it. So it must have an opening, it must have a body, it must have a closing, so that people will follow you. It is going to be a speech that is developed, not a monologue. In fact, in the rules book, they say it's not going to be a monologue. It's going to be a speech that flows like any other speech. So there must be an opening, there must be a developed body, and there must be a closing. If you like, what are people taking out? What are people making out of this speech? Is it just a comedian talking and making us happy? Okay? After that, remember that when you are making a beginning, you must start with a hook, something that the audience will hold on to, something that will generate their interest, so that person pressing phone will stop pressing phone. Somebody want to go out will stay put. So you have to start with a bang and close with a bang. You have to start with something that will make people either to laugh or to look up to you, that you have much to say. Like saying, so many people are leaving Africa. And I don't know what is happening in Africa now. I think my geography teacher lied to me when I was in secondary school. He saw that the world is rotating. And if the world is rotating, why am I still in Africa? I'm supposed to have gone to Europe, Canada, or US free of charge without having to go and get visa. This is a very good opening on a humorous speech. So find something funny, something that will make people to know that you have more to offer. Someone like Toastmaster Paul Abe in Abuja can start by removing his cap and say, look at me, I used to have plenty hair, afro hair for that matter. It is problems of this world that made me to lose all my hair. Then my hairs are growing again. People will laugh. People will know that he's funny, that he's trying to communicate. Okay? So having said this, we say once again that humor must not cross on certain lines. Please, I'm begging you. Humor must not cross on certain lines. You will stay on the decent line. You are talking to professionals. You are talking, even the rule book says it. You don't have to cross on lines. Let me give you an example. Making mockery with people who are disabled. Making mockery with people who are poor or who are physically challenged. You are crossing the line. It will be better if one of them, like when I had training with Aso Rock, one of their champions have a disability with sight. And that Pascal is good in humor. When he contested the international speech, he was talking about his experience with a lady. And he said he wanted to approach the lady. But from how he has perceived the class of the lady, then he, with a very big voice, he said to us that day, I said to myself, Pascal, be careful. You are not only blind, but you also broke. Don't approach her. That's a very good one. And coming from somebody that had disability of the sight, it was funny to us. But imagine somebody that has sight saying it, that some of you people who are here are blind and you also broke. Don't go near women. Audience will never find it funny at all. So try to stay. Don't make joke with pastors. Christians may not find it funny. Don't make joke with the imams. Muslims will not find it funny. This is what we are saying. Now, I was asked to tell you some of the things that are in the the rule book, the contest rule. And these are some of the things. Number one, the eligibility, you must be a paid member. Your dues must have been updated. You are not owing. For you to contest, you will not be a person that is owing, and your club will not be owing. So, and you must have done 2 levels in the pathway. Okay? So, you must not owe, your club will not owe. You are not eligible if you have done 2 levels in the pathway education. You must have the certificate of completion of levels 1 and 2 of any part in the pathway. If your club is a newly chartered club, within a year, you're eligible to contest. Okay? And there are some people that may not contest. They know themselves, our big ogas, directors at top. There are classes of people who are directors both in the club, in the area, and in the division, even in the district. They are not eligible because they'll be among the judges. Okay? Another thing you need to know is that, like any other speech, you have between 5 to 7 minutes. If you speak below 5 minutes, you'll be disqualified. If you speak above the extra 30 minutes, 30 seconds that will be allocated to you when you reach the 7 minutes, that is, the red card is up, and you keep on speaking and cross 30 seconds, even if it's 1 second, you'll be disqualified. You will be the person to select your topic, just as I selected mine. And no foul language or materials. It is in the official contest rule book. It must be thematic, not monologue, meaning you must have opening, you must have body, and it must have closing. Now, what do you expect from the judges? The Toastmasters told us what to expect. Okay? Level 1 and 2 is not compulsory for humorous speech. It is in the international speech. Okay. With all good thanks to the person that is at my back directing this movie, Toastmaster Olu Joseph. So I thank him so much. He's here. Humorous speech contest. These are what the judges are looking for. Number 1, the speech development. They will score you based on 1 to 10. How did their speech flow? That's why you will not do a monologue like a stand-up comedy, meaning you just speak on poverty and begin to lament about poverty from beginning to end. No description, no nothing. No. Number 2, effectiveness. They will look at how effective or useful is your speech. After that is what they call the speech value. What you talk about that make people to laugh, is it going to add value to them, to the society? Remember when I was talking about personal financial crisis, I was even giving you tips how to overcome. Even though it was funny, we come to think of it, it's serious. I mean, the basic thing you need to do is to adjust on your needs, not on your wants. And I broke it down unbelievably to the 4 major needs of a human being: food, shelter, transportation. And you have to go through it to know that I mentioned clothing too. So there will be a value. Judges will look at it and say, oh, well, he tried to offer a solution to financial crises that are personal. Then audience response is very, very important. That's why you must infuse humor. One way or the other, try through your facial expression, through your gesticulation, through your paralinguistics, through your lifting your hand, through your frowning, through your crying, through anything to make them to laugh, because it's a humorous speech. Even if they can't laugh, let them laugh small, only one little small laugh for you. The audience will be happy, the judges will be happy with it. So, but I advise you not to prime your audience and say, what I'm about to say now is very, very funny. Eh? It's a banger. You will love it. It's going to make you to laugh. Once you say it, even the judges will be disappointed at the audience. And if it's in a country like Nigeria, they will be stiffened and say, oh yeah, man, make me laugh. They don't bore you well. We're not going to laugh. So don't try to be faster than the audience or try to prime them or use pressure techniques on them to blackmail them to laugh. Let it come naturally. That's what the judges mean by the audience response. They have to look at your physical. When I won the speech of the area in 2019, my area, something happened. I appeared in a royal robe with a walking stick because my speech was old school versus the new school. So I was trying to talk about how values have changed so much. Both the culture, the dressing, they are not appreciating African culture. Look at what the new school is doing. Then towards the end, when I now begin to say there are lots that the old school have to learn from the new school. Number one, we are not going to be dinosaurs and dragons. We have to also look smart like them. We have to talk smart, use Android phone, know their lingos, blend with them. And come on, that I'm almost in my 50s. Why almost going to 50 years then? Why should I look like an old school? That at times I can throw away this old school label. Before the audience, I undressed myself in the royal robe, and they now noticed I was wearing jeans and t-shirts. I put on a cap and do leg work for more than a minute. And that gave me, I'm sure, that 1 minute, transition from old school to new school. They see the physical transition, me removing the royal robe and then turning suddenly to someone wearing jeans, t-shirts, throw away my walking stick. The audience erupted, they stood up. And when I won the Division E, the same thing happened because I was speaking on be careful of heartbreakers. I don't say if somebody find out, I was advising them that if somebody break your heart, don't break the head of the person. Don't die because of the person. Maybe the person need to go out of your life so that you will discover true love and true happiness. Instead of crying all night, why not pop up the champagne? I grab a physical champagne and we pop it and begin to dance pop champagne, and the whole audience erupted again. So the judges are looking up to something like this. The props you have to choose will be something that can easily be used. Something your physical appearance, your facial expression, your ability to connect to the audience is very, very important to the judges. And they are looking at your voice variation, vocal variation. If the jungle mashups, he who don't know go know. That's good. That's good. And she came to me and said to me, Tim, I want to make a request. Yes, can I help you? Do you have an idle 2 million that you can lend to me? After 4 months, I will give it back to you. I was shocked and horrified and said to her, if I have 2 million, why will the money be idle in the first place? Idle doing what? In these hard times? That's vocabulary. You need it, even though it's human. Remember that it's an international contest and they have to look at your voice. And then finally, they have to look at the correctness. You can't just be putting whatever that suddenly you say to that even in this country, we know that in this Nigeria now, that Nigeria is punishing, the government is punishing people, even when we have over 400 billion US dollars in our foreign reserve. Why can't they bring it up? What is $400 billion doing there? Well, fact checking. We don't have even up to 40 billion US dollars in our foreign reserve. Where did you get the 400? So if you're going to put statistics and all these things, remember people, judges have their laptops, they have their Android phone, they might check at some of the things you say. Even though it's a humorous speech, you have to be correct in everything you're saying. Having said all this, I want to make my final appeal by saying to some of you, why not give this humorous speech a try? It's like Olympic race. It's like Olympics athletics. It's like going to Olympics. It's not about winning, but it's about participating. By participating now, whether you win or not, you have made your mark. You will improve yourself. Nobody's giving you money. Nobody's giving you a car. But you have to represent your club. You have to represent your area. And you have to represent your division. Why not come out? Who knows what is in the future for you if you develop the humorous part of you? On 26th, Saturday next, a group of Americans are coming to Nigeria to give an honorary award to some deserving citizens. And yesterday, they chose me as the MC. What if I didn't participate in the humorous speech of my club? Now, I'm a professional MC. And here I was yesterday discussing with them. They said they will pay me so thousands of naira. I said, oh, I'm coming from America, pay me in dollars. I know we have zone 4 East in Abuja. Don't price this. This is an international. So you can use it to build also your career as MC, as a person that will stand before people and they will be happy. They'll be excited hearing you. Stop having the fear that people will not laugh. They will laugh. One way or the other, people must listen to you and say, well, for you even participating. The contest here will say, not for him, not for her. Until she gets to and say, keep on clapping. That's the joy you will have. I encourage you to participate. And those of you that want to participate, write your speech, infuse the humor, record it in a video or audio, send to your friends and members of the Toastmasters to review you. And then a few days to the contest, call about 3 people and also call them. They will listen to you and then they will critique you. That way you will continue to grow. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you once again for our leaders for asking me to share my experience. Thank you, as I expect your questions, if there are any. Thank you once again. I'm done.
A round of applause, please. You can unmute yourselves and give him a resounding round.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much.
We enjoyed the training.
No wonder your example.
Amazing.
And interesting.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've been hugging the chat box. I saw no questions, and I didn't imagine I'd be seen because the presentation and explanations were very explicit. And that part where you said that the eligibility criteria has been lowered since it terminates at division level, I think that was very important too. So I'll just leave room for one or two questions if there are any. I see many more chats, but a lot of them are applause for your flawless delivery. So if there are no questions, we'll simply proceed because we're just about 4 minutes behind schedule. Do we have any questions? Or any addendum?
Or any donation to the.
Yeah, but this time in Naira, right?
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Okay, just a few things I took down. Red, reflect, evaluate, decide. Red, great. TRC in action, the way you dealt with the snoring thing. I stopped writing because I had to listen. So I'm sure, just like me, everyone who has listened is taking a lot away. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we proceed now to the toast. Yes. Let me now invite the toast raised up for tonight in the person of the Club Growth Director for Division E, Toastmaster Bola Yusuf. Toastmaster Bola, are you with us? Toastmaster Bola
Yes,
Yusuf.
good evening. Good evening,
evening.
everyone. Yeah, good evening, Toastmasters and friends. Good evening. Please, can I have your camera on, please? Let me see everybody's faces before we start the toast. Okay. Your camera on, please. Okay, I can see beautiful faces. Thank you, thank you. And with your glass cup, I have my wine here. So, and if you don't have your wine, just something liquid that you can look for. Water is good. And if you're in this part of Nigeria that we drink Zobo in the northern part of Nigeria, so please get it. Okay, thank you. I can see your faces. Good evening, everyone. Oh, nice seeing you. I love that. I love that. Okay, that's miracle. I love that. Okay, so are we all set now? Those must have for this not there. This is why. I love that. Okay, so a toast to the funniest humorous speech contest. And after the speech, a toast to laughter all through the year. And a toast to happiness to all Toastmasters and our family members. So I say a toast to long friendship among all Toastmasters and a toast to a life of happiness. So cheers, everyone. So you can bring your cup too close to the screen. Cheers, everyone, and have a toast.
Yes.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers,
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bola Yusuf. I think my job is done, right? And I appreciate the opportunity to have done this tonight. And I would gladly do it again and again. Thank you to Division E. Thank you for District 94 and everyone who continues to give us opportunities to grow. Let me hand control over to our coordinator, Toastmaster Adwa Nyamke Odom.
Dude, you have just
Please.
butchered my name. My name is Ajua. It's A-J-U-A. So even though it's spelled A-D-W-O-A, you pronounce it with a J. So it's Ajua. Or you can call me AJ. But thank you
AJ.
so much for the fabulous work you have done. I cannot thank our speaker enough. Indeed, in our local parlance in Ghana, we will say that when you hear the sound of the cock roosting tomorrow morning, it's our way of saying thank you. And so I'll say thank you to the Division Director of Division E, Faith. Thank you to the After Work representative, Modukwe Aina. She was amazing in getting all these efficient role players together. I want to thank the audience, those of us who showed up to support us. It has been an amazing meeting. I have learned so much. I have enjoyed myself. I hope you have too. Ladies and gentlemen, After Work is every Monday, 7 p.m. GMT, and English divisions are going to take turns to host. And so the next division, I believe, I will communicate the division that will be hosting to the coordinators. But for next meeting, we will be speaking about base camp. We will familiarize ourselves with base camp. And so I will urge us on to tell those of us, those of our members who are new, who are having trouble navigating base camp, and even for some of us who are old members. One thing I like about Toastmasters is the fact that every time I join a call, I learn something new. There's always something that I pick up. And so let us tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that next week, Monday, we are going to be speaking about base camp. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we bring the curtains to a close. Thank you very much.